everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a full 7-round mock draft for each NFC West team. It's a continuation of a series. We just finished up the AFC West. We're starting the series up, so stay tuned for your team. It's going to be a really fun one. It's fun to kind of go in depth for all 7 rounds, get the fun fits together. It's going to be a fun episode. Rainy day here in Utah. It's been a chill, relaxing day. The Mets suck. I've been watching the Mets. It's been a depressing start to the year. They aren't winning games. They probably won't win a game all year. But how are you, Josh? How are you doing?
It's funny you bring up baseball. For like 2 seconds, I turned on the Padres game, and just having family and stuff from San Diego. I'm of course born into all the California sports teams, and I immediately turned on a Padres game. Home run within like 2 seconds. So I was just like, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna turn this one off.
Bad luck
Uh,
source.
Yes, yes. I'm like, you know what? They probably have a better chance if I don't watch, because whoever I watch and I want to win, it's like an anomaly at this point. They usually lose. So for the sake of the team I want to win, I usually just turn it off.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how it works for the Chargers too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and when we live in Utah, which is a very bipolar and emotional state, I've witnessed rain, wind, hail, snow, sunshine, warm weather, freezing weather, all within the span of like 3 hours on Easter. So it's been a wild roller coaster this week. It's been interesting.
Yeah, very bipolar weather over here. We live like 30 minutes away from each other. I'm sure it's like raining where I am and completely just warm over where you are. It's crazy, but yeah, excited to get into this NFC West mock. All these teams have an insane amount of picks, first of all. So I guess we should probably just get right into the Cardinals. Anything else you want to say before we start?
No, we got a lot of picks and a lot of day two late round picks, especially for the Rams, who have like six in the fifth round and on. So we better get rolling. We gotta better get moving, or we're gonna be here all night.
All right, well let's start it out for the Arizona Cardinals here at pick 4. We could trade down. There's definitely discussions that Austin Fort would like to trade down like he did last year, maneuver the board and maybe go back up. But I don't know, man. You've got this generational receiver named Marvin Harrison staring you down the board. What are you thinking of for?
There's a big open sign with neon lights, and I don't like them blinking, but we are open to trade. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board, and I think they are wanting to weigh all their options. Obviously, if Marvin Harrison Jr. happens to go at number 3 to the Patriots, I think that's when that open sign turns on. But right now, that open sign is off, and I think the Cardinals are running up to the board with Marvin Harrison Jr., an electric wide receiver prospect, the best we've probably ever seen. And you pair him with a young guy like Michael Wilson, you got Trey McBride, and you start surrounding Kyler Murray with, elite weapons.
No, I love it. This is my best receiver prospect of all time. He was literally built in a lab, groomed by a Hall of Fame receiver to be a Hall of Fame receiver, in my opinion. I really think he's going to be on that career trajectory. He is just insane in every single level of the game. He can beat you on every level. He can win on any route. He's just dominant. I don't think we need to talk about this one for too long. The only discussion is the trade down discussion. But man, you're sprinting up the board. I feel like Austin Ford has been sweating this pick out for like 2 years, and Kyler gets his guy.
Yeah, 100%. It's the perfect fit. This is one of the no-brainers of the draft. Select it. Let's get on to round two.
All right, nope, we're on to
Oh,
pick 27 because of that brilliant move by Austin Fort. We've got that Houston first round pick.
wow. Mr. Kool-Aid McKistry is sitting right there is absolutely tremendous value. Interior defensive line, I wouldn't mind right there. But wow, what do you think of Kool-Aid falling that to them at 27? I think that's I don't know. That might be too tempting to pass up on.
Yeah, so I love shoeing in Johnny Newton here at 27. He's not on the board, which is kind of a bummer because he's the perfect Gannon player. But man, with Kool-Aid there, he's also kind of the perfect Gannon corner. He could really be that CB1 boundary corner on the outside. He's just really good in press, and he's a sticky corner. So I think this is down to Kool-Aid or AD Mitchell. Actually, you pair Marvin with AD Mitchell, that would be a fun double dip. But there's some good receivers on the board. But who are you going out of the two?
I think I'm going to go Kool-Aid. You pair him up with Sean Murphy, Bunting, and Garrett Williams, and I feel like that's a really nice wide receiver, or sorry, not wide receiver, corner trio for your team. And I really think the weak spot of this Cardinals team after you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. really is your defense. And with all these picks and like I think 6 in the top 100, I think you slam out defense. Jonathan Gannon wants to build this team, to be solid on both levels. And you just get a major boost to your offense with Marvin Harrison Jr. Now you go get a corner prospect that was at one point everyone's number one, who's, almost just dealing with really bad prospect fatigue and maybe doesn't have as high upside as some of these other guys do, but a really, really clean corner. And this guy's floor is very, very safe. I mean, he does not panic in coverage. He does not, get antsy. He is just a cool, and it fits his name, Kool-Aid. He's just a cool ass corner in coverage.
Yeah, 100%. I love the pick. I will say Jackson Powers Johnson's on the board. Both of us are really high on him, and we don't expect him to be there. But there are kind of like rumblings that he might fall. He could be here, and if he is, I'm sprinting that up to the board. If I can come away with Marvin and Jackson Powers Johnson, that's beautiful. You've got Holt starting at center right now, so that's beautiful. If you could pull that.
You know what? Scratch whatever I said. I don't know why, but my mind didn't even think about the offensive line.
Right.
But I mean, it is tough though. Kool-Aid is tremendous. Obviously, the positional value would tell, let's say corner, but Jackson Powers Johnson, just for BPA at this point, may be the best pick.
Yeah, if I just feel like
We
we
could
want
probably
to.
we'll circle back to corner. We got a pick here and a few picks. Jackson Powers Johnson's not going to be on the board. I think we do lock in Jackson Powers Johnson, and you help solidify that offensive line. You got a 10-year starter in the middle. You got Jonah Williams on one side, and you got Paris Johnson on the other. I feel like that's solid. That's really building your offensive line solid.
No, I love it. You've got Elijah Wilkinson, Froholt, and Will Hernandez on the interior right now. So you're getting the best interior offensive lineman in the class to add to that. That's pretty beautiful. That's insane. And there are rumblings that he could be here, even though we're higher on him. So we'll test that out. I like that a lot. And I just realized I made this a 1-round mock. So while I get the rest of it set up, you talk about the 3rd-round pick because we've already got it planned out. And I think it's the most perfect fit with Gannon.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go. Sorry, I want to talk a little bit more about Jackson Powers Johnson. You are getting the best interior offensive lineman in the board with, interior. He can play all 3 spots in the interior. He can play left guard, he can play right guard, he can play center. So it is a really good clean fit. And I do like the strategy of attacking offense in the 1st round and then really hitting defense come the 2nd round. But yeah, there is a perfect corner in the 3rd round in the 2nd round who I'm hoping falls to them. Out of Georgia, who's a very physical, zone man type of coverage guy. Comes from an incredible, background at Georgia, playing with NFL talent all over that roster. But we will get to him here in the 2nd round and see if he is available.
Yeah, this this mock draft does not want me to draft our draft,
it's
but
it's the all-time struggle right now.
yeah, we're selecting Kamari Lassiter in round 3 because Kamari Lassiter with Gannon is just the most beautiful fit. I think he can be a CB1 on the outside. I think he's kind of being slept on as that 1st-round corner. Definitely should be in the discussion. So I think if you can get Lassiter early round 2 and just start him on the outside, I think the only reason he's not going round 1 is because of that 40. I think that's the move. So I think Lassiter and Gannon is just a perfect fit, and it's probably going to happen. It's the perfect Gannon corner. He really does just embody the whole Gannon mentality. He's a physical, go get you tackler. He can tackle in the backfield really well. He can blitz. He's so sticky in coverage. He's underrated just as a mover. I think he's very fluid, and he's an underrated athlete as well, which is kind of why he's falling. So I think it's just going to be a really, really good fit. I think it's honestly going to happen. Just feels like a Cardinals pick in the Cardinals corner. So I love it.
He's just a dog, man. Comes from the dogs. He is a dog. He's an immediate plug and play corner 1 in Gannon's defense. It's pick it and forget about it right there.
All right. And let's move on to the next Cardinals pick out of their 450 picks. We'll go on to the 2nd pick in the 3rd round. Michael Penix still on the board. What positions are you eyeing right now for the Cardinals' needs?
Chrissy Tonga is starting at nose tackle right now. I think interior would be very, very, very good, a very solid pick, to beef up that interior. I mean, you got Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, which is probably, the weakest spot of your defense. I mean, Trevondre Sweat right there would be pretty sick. Michael Hall, Leonard Taylor, who kind of looks more like a linebacker. I mean, if you're looking for a real one technique nose tackle, plug and play, he's not maybe a 3, 4 down player, but you bring him down in on the early downs. I mean, Trevondre Sweat would be pretty sick there.
No, that's a perfect fit. You get Gannon, just an absolute stud. He's underrated as a pass rusher as well. Like he can just create havoc with his size and with his bull rush and just shoving people. He's got the 85.3 pass rush grade, which is no slouch. He just had Byron Murphy opposite of him. But yeah, absolute beast. If you can get him in the third round, you start out your draft pretty dang nice. You get some really nice pieces on the offense and defense, and you're getting some cornerstones right here. And this is awesome for a draft. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, you can't teach size, and that's one thing that Trevondre Sweat has. So, that's two people molded into one. And yeah, you're gonna almost have to send doubles at that guy just because he's gonna oversize most interior offensive linemen, which is just, makes him so valuable at that spot. But I mean, here, I wouldn't hate upgrading over a Will Hernandez at guard. I mean, you've already taken Jackson Powers Johnson, but you could make that interior even stronger. Mason McCormick, a guard from South Dakota State, who kind of has that. Oh my gosh, I blanked his name. Who's the old guard? Played for the Raiders, played for the Bills, who kind of had that.
Incognito.
Yes, Richie Incognito kind of has that kind of mauler type mentality, bulldoze you over. Where's the neck pad? He would be pretty sick here. You could also look to upgrade your linebackers, Kaiser White. You got Barnes, that could be a position that you definitely we need to address at some point. But I mean, Mason McCormick would be pretty exciting, and you really start to solidify all 5 spots on that offensive line.
Yeah, I'm really eyeing safety and linebacker as well. Mason McCormick would be an awesome pick. He could start day one at guard. I would love that. Javon Bullard is still here. Would you consider going Javon Bullard and waiting for that interior? Because I feel like that's a perfect Gannon safety. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, and you start to prepare for life after Buda Baker, who could be a post June 1st cut, some are saying, and upgrade over Jalen Thompson. So Javon Bullard, you get another Bulldog who has familiarity with Kamari Lassiter. You bring that dog secondary over there to Arizona. I wouldn't mind that at all either.
Yeah, that could be really fun, actually, getting both those Georgia dogs in the secondary for Gannon. That is really fun. I like Kalen Bullock a lot, so I'd be fine waiting for him and taking McCormick here. I guess it kind of just depends on what you prefer, Bullard or Bullock, and then McCormick or another
Let's
guard.
go Javon Bullard. That I actually like that. Let's add to that secondary. I mean, Gannon is a defensive guy. You have attacked your offensive pretty early in the first 2 rounds. Let's start stacking that defense. And then Jeremiah Trotter would be nice here too. That's another really good pick. I wouldn't mind. I mean that. I mean you're helping all 3 levels of your defense right there. Oh, Jeremiah Trotter. And he's a really good coverage linebacker. Mason McCormick is still there. Oh, I'm between Trotter and McCormick.
Let's go Trotter. That's the most Gannon linebacker. It's literally another Isaiah Simmons, really. He's got the NFL bloodline in his family. He's just a freak athlete, a great fluid mover. I really love this. I feel like Gannon would fall in love with him. And I feel like this could be a fit that might end up happening as well.
Yeah, that seems almost too perfect. Lock that one in, forget about it.
Let's
And
see if
we
we can get.
still
Oh, McCormick is still there. That's some pretty
lock
beautiful.
him in, lock him in. Mason McCormick, Incognito, part two. Wow, this would be I mean, they're gonna have an insane draft when you have 6 picks within the top 100 in one of the best draft classes in the last decade. Oh, and just look at those grades, man. It's so clean. Obviously he played at South Dakota State, but he really dominated that competition there. I mean, just all elite level grades. Run block, zone grade, pass block, gap grade, true pass set. Yeah, and 0 sacks in 2023. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Cardinals fans, you need to comment. Give us your thoughts on this because it's a beautiful, beautiful haul. To me, I would be insanely ecstatic if you came away with this draft. This is a crazy, crazy haul. You get Mason McCormick and JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson to start on that interior. That's pretty insane. Moving on to round five, I think I'm thinking running back. Running back's been kind of something that they've struggled with outside of James Conner, and he's a little bit injury prone. I would really love Estime. I feel like Estime just feels like a Cardinal, feels like that James Conner compliment, but I don't know. Maybe the running backs aren't the best on the board because I don't think Brandon Allen would be there. What are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, you got James Conner, and I mean, he can never play a full 16 games or sorry, 18 games in a season. Gosh, yeah,
You could look
AJ
at Edge.
Allen. I mean, I know, I think I like running back here. I think that's a very underrated, slept on need. And I mean, James Conner's old. Braylon Allen would be a true, he would be exciting. Isaac Guerendo would be kind of a cool fit here. Ooh,
Let's go with
maybe
Guerendo because he's the perfect like complement to Connor because Connor's
he,
that thunder. Um,
yeah, it's like a good Thunder and Lightning duo. James Conner being your Thunder, Isaac Guerendo being your Lightning. You know, a guy who absolutely just tore up the combine, tested freakier than any other running back we've ever seen. Shout out to Dandrig in that C4. Absolutely love to see it. That's the best flavor right there, baby. That is the best
Pink
flavor right
Barbers,
there. Yes, sir. Love to see it. Ultimate go-to drink right there. Sponsored by C4, everybody. Uh,
absolutely.
but yeah, I love that 1-2 punch with Guerendo and James Conner, and then he can eventually take over that RB1 role.
Yeah, look at Guerendo going from the Louisville Cardinals to the Arizona Cardinals, just perfect. He's kind of like got that James Conner build. He just got more burst to him. So I kind of really like that fit. Moving on to the next Cardinals pick, they've got so many. Down Holker would be really fun pairing Trey McBride with another Colorado State tight end. Let's see.
I mean,
Edge could be cool.
edge, tackle. I mean, we still got a lot of picks to address these, but ooh, I mean, Jalen Harrell from Michigan would be an interesting prospect. A guy who's not super refined or super polished, but definitely has, you know, the upside to be a three down player. I wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't mind him at all here.
No, I kind of really like that. Get that pass rush specialist day one for Gannon. He can eventually turn into a starter. I actually really, really like that.
Yeah, so I got McGregor, who's more of the run guy, and Harrell, who's more of a pass rusher, and I think I value the pass rusher more.
Yeah, I think Gannon would as well, especially to kind of be that third guy. Really like that pick. Think we could maybe go back to the offensive line while we could go to tight end to get like a blocking tight end.
I mean, I wouldn't mind either of those. I do like the idea of drafting a tackle here pretty soon. For the fact of I don't know if Jonah Williams is going to be their long term plan at tackle.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think you could definitely get a developmental prospect here. Anyone stand out to you on the board?
This is
It's
not the
it's
board I
it's slim
want.
pickings here, especially on PFF's board in the sixth round.
Yeah. Maybe we wait. Maybe we wait to round seven. I don't know, man. I don't like this
uh,
board.
I saw AJ Barner on the board. He's more of a true blocking tight end who I think would be a really good 1-2 punch with Trey McBride, who's more of your receiving specialist. I would not mind AJ Barner here at all.
Should we go tip Ryman just because it might be more realistic that he'd be there in round six? I feel like Barnard could go a little bit earlier with that Michigan. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I like Tip Ryman or Tanner McLaughlin. Even Jared Wiley down there. He's a big guy. He's a big guy too. That's probably his range as well.
Hmm. I guess Tip's not really much of a blocker. Do you want to just go Barner? Do you think it's realistic that he'd be there?
I think yeah, because I mean he's a pass blocking tight end. His sorry, yeah, he's not a really good receiver, very polished. Do have a really good tight end coming out of Michigan next year in Loveland, who it'll be fun to get into him in summer scouting. But AJ Barner, yeah, I think you know for the 1-2 punch, again, kind of a thunder and lightning duo with McBride. I think that fits perfectly.
I like that a lot. He's a really good blocking tight end. Would be a steal of a value if you could get him there. Moving on to round seven, uh, you kind of can just go best available. Josh Wallace kind of feels like a Cardinal. We could go Brandon Coleman. I guess we probably should go tackle. Get that developmental guy as Coker or Coleman, your guy, or I like Delmar Glaze, or what do you think?
Let's go Brandon Coleman. Not that I can say I'm an expert on these guys in the seventh round on offensive tackles, but let's just at this point let's throw a dart at Brandon Coleman from TCU, and maybe a couple years down the road he can be a successor to Jonah Williams, who I don't think is a long-term solution.
Nope, I like that a lot. You get a pretty dang good haul for the Arizona Cardinals here. Really, just it's kind of hard not to with the amount of picks that you have in this absolutely stacked draft class. But do you want to read off who the Cardinals got?
Yeah, so obviously round one, which feels like one of the chalkier picks of this draft, you've got Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the cleanest wide receiver prospects we've ever seen. And then Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon, falling to them at 27, which is just a fit made in heaven. Kamari Lassiter, definitely a Gannon guy, round two, pick 35. Trevondre Sweat, a true nose tackle, one technique. He's just going to eat up that entire line of scrimmage at pick 66. Javon Bullard getting another Georgia Bulldog, 71. You got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., round three, who is another perfect Gannon fit. Mason McCormick, Richie Incognito 2.0, just really solidifying that line. Jalen Harrell, edge from Michigan, a guy with definitely pass rushing upside. AJ Barner, tight end from Michigan, who's a true blocking tight end, and then a dart throw on Brandon Coleman, a tackle from TCU.
Absolutely love it. Just an electric haul from the Cardinals would be a really, really fun draft day. Let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks, who pick at 16. Should be a pretty fun discussion. Should be interesting. I'm very, very interested to see like what they end up doing round one. I think they should go interior offensive line. I think everyone agrees that they should go interior offensive line. This guy, Troy Fautanu, is on the board, and I'll be honest, he's my 12th player on my big board in the entire class, and I have him as a tackle. I think he could be a star left tackle in the NFL, but in the Seahawks case, you have the luxury of playing him at guard day one, and if one of your tackles gets hurt, you can just move him to tackle, and he'd be great there, I think. So I think Troy Fautanu is honestly just a dream Seahawks pick. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, that's beautiful. A Troy Fatani who can truly play all five spots. He can be, your swing tackle from day one and start at guard. You do got two pretty good tackles already, Charles Cross being one of them. But yeah, I mean their offensive line on the tackle side is pretty set, but he could be immediately your swing tackle if anyone gets hurt, but start day one and have all pro potential at guard. So I absolutely love that. He could probably play center too. I don't think there's a position this guy can't play. Super long arms, which people thought was gonna. That's why they thought he couldn't play tackle in the first place. But he goes in there, he has longer arms, and half of these guys, who we have is chalked as top 10 picks. But yeah, no, a guy who stays in Washington, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we'll keep him in state, keep him in Seattle, just down the road. And yeah, just an incredible mover, incredibly fluid mover. So no doubt that he would be a great guard. He's a perfect projection to guard, but I think he could play tackle too. Just in this situation, he'd be an all-pro guard. And I think you are definitely okay with that. Let's move on to round three because the Seahawks don't have that second round pick that traded for Leonard Williams. So moving on to round three, you've got Junior Colson on the board. You can get Mike McDonald, his guy. That'd be pretty fun. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue that one. You lost Bobby Wagner, and the guy who went to the Dolphins,
They
blanking his
lost
name.
Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks, and
Yeah,
Devin Bush.
yeah, you locked Junior Colson in, who has familiarity with Mike McDonald back at Michigan. A true standout player with a really cool story, team captain. No brainer pick. No brainer pick.
That's pretty electric. McDonald with those Michigan ties is going to be eyeing those Michigan players, and that is a perfect fit in that defense. That's pretty fun. They lost three middle linebackers, like I said. You bring in Jerome Baker, but you pair Baker with Colson. That's honestly impressive. That's a pretty fun little deal you got going there. So I really like that pick. Let's move on to the Seahawks' next pick, which is the second overall pick in the fourth round. Any positions you eyeing here? Sione Vake could be really fun. Safety. could be important. Tight end could be big after losing Disley and Parkinson. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I was kind of thinking tight end here. I mean, obviously Sione Vaki on the board right there is very tempting. But you did just lose Colby Parkinson and Will Disley. You still have Noah Fant. I feel like they do in Seattle really value the tight end position and being kind of deep at that position. And I that contributed to a lot of success on the run game for them and a lot of the 12 personnel sets that they were running. But man, I don't know. Sione Vaki here. Maybe we wait till tight end next round. Um, I
It's
mean,
tough.
Cade Stover, Sanat, Eric, all Theo. I might want to try our luck in round five. Because Sione Vaki sitting on the board here would just be such a fun pairing um with Mike McDonald in that offense. I mean, you do have Rashawn Jenkins and Julian Love, but you did just lose Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. This guy can play in the box. He can play deep at free safety. And hell, he can suit up at running back for you too. So one of the most versatile guys. He could play slot receiver. Me and Dan's one of our biggest draft crushes. And here in this round, that is just I don't know. It's just too big of a value for me here, Dan.
Yeah, so you're getting a guy that's in my top 50 in my big board, and I just absolutely love Sione. And I mean, this is just perfection. You get a guy that can be an insane receiving back to kind of take the load off Kenneth Walker. You have Charbonnet, but I mean, you can't have too many receiving backs when I think this guy can truly be the best receiving back in this entire class. But he's no slouch as a safety as well. He hits hard. He looks for contact. He wants to go up and hit you, and he can cover. He can move his feet like better than any of the running backs in this class. He has crazy footwork and just fluidity, and I have no doubt he's going to be a star. He's probably going to go definitely day two. So I really like this pick. Good value.
Yeah, absolute stud in Sione Vaki. Let's draft him, forget about it. Maybe one of the few Iron Man football players we've ever seen playing both sides. So we'll see.
Yeah, if Travis Hunter didn't exist, then Baki would have got a lot more publicity last year. But looking at the tight ends, Cade Stover is off the board. Kind of felt like a Seahawk. Ben Sinnott would be nice here to get that really nice blocker, that huge check type. I don't know. Who are you thinking?
You know, Dallin Holker would be fun here, man. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think he's kind of a little underrated as a blocker too. I mean, he's a hell of a receiver, but he can really do both. But I'm kind of between Holker and Sanat here.
I guess just thinking about like Noah Fant, who's the better compliment to Noah Fant. I don't know if Dallin Holker would be the best compliment to Noah Fant because they're kind of similar play style wise. Sanat would be a good compliment if you think he'd be here.
Yeah, I think Sonat will be this. I feel like this is honestly where I kind of have Sonat ranked. An H back, a guy could play fullback, line. I mean, he's a true versatile piece. He'd be really fun to pair with Noah Fant, who can line out wide and who is actually a decent blocker. But yeah, I think you start revamping that tight end room that you took a big hit at this offseason. And Sanat is one of my favorite players in this draft too. There's a lot of underrated tight ends in this draft that can do a lot of different things. And my comp for Ben Sinnott was Kyle Juszczyk, and I know you had the same comp, which getting Kyle Juszczyk in the fourth round, a very versatile player, a very versatile piece on that chessboard is really exciting.
Yep, great blocker, very underrated as a receiver, very smooth with the ball in his hands after the catch. He can really just do it all, but he is a really good pass blocker. Even he's just a great player to have. Would be a really good compliment to Noah Fant right behind him, a good replacement for those two tight ends that they lost. So I really like that. I am kind of thinking about going back to the offensive line. Well, though, like Zach Zinner would have been so awesome. Could have been like a star guard for you. No, Zach Zinner does kind of hurt. The interior board isn't too great. Anything else that you're thinking about?
Oh, CJ Hansen is from Holy Cross is getting a lot of hype, especially in the sixth round. He might be worth the dart throw. A guy who dominated at his level of competition. Who sorry, my mind was blanking people. You'll be able to pull his name out of the Bootleggers podcast. Who works for the Chargers?
Oh, Brett Coleman.
Yeah, Brett Coleman shouted this guy out as one of his underrated prospects. I'd really like to throw a dart throw at CJ Hansen. I don't know if you're opposed to that.
No, I definitely don't mind that at all. We have two 6th-round picks, so we could definitely get him with that second one. Do you want to go edge? Do you want to go like Brennan Jackson, keep him in state, and then go CJ Henson?
I do really like Brennan Jackson, and another guy from Washington stays in Washington. Yeah, lock that in, and then maybe let's go CJ Hansen with our second 6th round pick.
All right, let's get a nice, big, productive edge rusher. Keep him in state, and then let's go on that interior. I think CJ Hansen could probably push to start day one. Just a solid all around player, really smart player. So yeah, I think he would push Anthony Bradford or Tremaine Ingram to start day one at guard. So I really like that.
Yeah, definitely worth the dart throw. Very athletic guard, and yeah, a guy who did very well on his level of competition, not allowing a sack in 2 years. An Ivy League guy, so a very smart guy. But yeah, let's lock him in here.
All right, let's lock it in, and then I think we got one pick left. I am just gonna check corner. Yeah, Josh Wallace isn't there, so I'm not gonna mess around with it. Let's go to the linebacker. Well, we might need to stay in state again because I just love Ede Ulofasho, Fascio, however you pronounce the last name. I love Ede. He's a beast. He's just really, really solid in coverage. I think Mike McDonald would want to work with him. You lost 3 linebackers. You bring in Coulson, but I don't see the problem bringing in this coverage specialist. You see that 90.4 coverage grade. It's kind of what he does. That's what he specializes in. So, you bring him in off the bench to cover tight ends. A good special teamer, good mismatch piece. Keep him in state. Feels right.
I love it. I love it. Lock it in, and then let's look at the big board overall.
All right, yeah, another solid draft. This one, I feel like the Seahawks got a lot of starters that they can kind of fill in day one, especially on that offensive line. A lot of guys that are going to push for spots, but the Seahawks come away with Troy Fatanu out of Washington and pick 16 to keep him in state to start, be an all-pro guard. You get Junior Colson round 3 to start, to be a really solid linebacker for McDonald with that Michigan connection. Round 4, pick 102, you get Sione Vaki, just an incredible Swiss Army knife, the most interesting man in this draft, can be an incredible running back for you as well. So you get Baki, you get another Swiss Army knife in Ben Sanat, who can play fullback, tight end. You could be a Sam Laporta or a Kyle Juszczyk for you. Love that. You get Brennan Jackson, keep him in state as well, really productive. You get CJ Hansen to push for that starting guard spot day one, around 6. And then around 7, you get Ede Ulo Fascio, just a really, really good coverage backer. So I love that draft.
Absolutely love it. I am panicking. Moving on to the Rams with 7 picks from round 5 and on. So this one will be fun. It'll be interesting. This is how they built the meat and potatoes of their roster last year with their 12 picks. But it's fun. They said F them picks, and they said we want all them picks, even if they're 7 picks in the bottom of the draft.
Yeah, if you guys need, pause the video, go get some snacks, go get some popcorn, go make some dinner, because we're going on to the Rams and they've got 900 picks. So let's start off in round 1. I really want to go Laiatu Latu. You lose Aaron Donald. Obviously, you want to upgrade on that defensive line. Johnny Newton would be beautiful here, but I'm really high on Kobe Turner, so I'm going to go with that edge to pair opposite of Byron Young, and I think Laiatu Latu is just someone that I'm really growing in love with. The more I watch him, he's the most refined pass rusher I've ever seen. He's the most productive pass rusher in the NCAA over the last 2 years. He was the best last year in every single statistic. He's the best in everything, really. I think he's just perfect. A lot of people like to point to his medicals, but apparently the University of Washington doctors actually kind of messed up, and that retirement was on them and it was their mistake. So it's kind of different than that Jalen Phillips situation. He hasn't been injured since. I'm not worried about Laiatu Latu in any way. He's a top 10 player on my big board. I want to select him here. How do you feel about that?
I absolutely love it. And for a guy to be a first round pick at edge rusher, you have to be able to see him have the capability of having, double digit sack seasons. And it's there with Latu. 27 sacks in 2 seasons is no joke. He's one of the cleanest pass rushers you'll ever see. He's got every pass rushing move in the book. And yeah, this guy's being way too slept on for his medicals. That he seems to be completely healthy. So, let's move past that and let's start looking at Lofty for the player that he really is. And I mean, him at 19 is tremendous value, because I mean he is He's I kind of have him at a 1A, 1B with Dallas Turner.
Yeah, I mean, when we started the mock draft process, December, January, Latu was going pick 4 to the Commanders. He's going top 5, and there's just a lot of prospect fatigue going on for someone that had a pretty good offseason process. He tested well. Hasn't gotten hurt in years, so I really like Latu. Really think that would be a steal and a great fit for the Rams. Do you want to move on to round 2? I think this is where we can target that Aaron Donald replacement. Let's see what defensive interiors are off the board. Oh,
I really
Braden
wanted Braden
Fisk.
Fisk. I think we were both wanting Braden Fisk here. What about I mean Chris Jenkins, the mutant of all mutants, what people call him, would be very, very enticing here. I really like Chris Jenkins. Rook would also be fun. But I mean, I think I really like Chris Jenkins here, man. Chris Jenkins here, second round pick 52. Oh, that might be too hard to pass up on and help ease the pain of Aaron Donald leaving.
I love that. I think Ruka Roro would be really fun because like he's just that crazy athlete. Either
You can
one.
talk me into anyone. I'm down. I mean, even Dorless would be exciting. He's a
Yeah.
true pass rusher, which Aaron Donald really specialized in. I don't know if I see Brandon Dorless maybe being a little bit more of an edge player. Um, I mean, I do really like Rook from Clemson, man. I think he would be. I think he would be exciting. Kind of a guy that does both at a really good level.
That's kind of tough, but let's go with your gut. I think we're both kind of just shook that Braden Fisk is gone because he moves like Aaron Donald. He's just got that nice movement, would be a nice shoe-in replacement. But let's get Chris Jenkins because he's got that NFL bloodline. He's going to be really good. He's high floor. He's going to be really good opposite of Kobe Turner.
Yeah, a guy that made Bruce Feldman's freak list. Just they call him the mutant. That's his nickname. So I don't think Rams fans would be mad adding Chris Jenkins and Latu for their first 2 picks. You immediately revamp that room. Ooh, okay. Johnny Wilson here. Talk me out of Johnny Wilson. Their receivers consist of Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup, Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson. They're all small guys, man. Johnny Wilson would be actually kind of insane.
It would be a perfect fit to that room. It'd be the perfect puzzle piece to complete that room. I wouldn't hate it. I don't love the value in round 3, but I wouldn't hate the fit for sure. It is a good compliment.
I wouldn't, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of eyeing to give him a big physical wide receiver. I don't know if we value Johnny Wilson more as a tight end, but I mean, he is 6'7". He's definitely different from what they have right now. Oh, Brendan Rice would be really exciting here as well. More NFL bloodline to the Rams.
I'd be fine going
Um,
Johnny Wilson just for the fun of it because that would be a fun fit, and that feels like something Sean McVay would want to experiment with. That feels like the Sean McVay molding ball of clay that he would
click
want.
click on his first look if you would.
6'7".
6'7", 240. Yeah. Let's add that, as a little bit of a unique, player to Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua. A little different in size there.
Look at that first look. Look at that hometown, California. You're bringing the kid home, the massive mutant of a human, just 6'7". He's honestly pretty. He like moves like Cortland Sutton, like how Sutton doesn't really move too fluid, but he gets the job done. That's how Johnny Wilson is. I think he could succeed. Worst case, he's going to be a pretty solid tight end experiment for Sean McVay. So I actually like the dart throw. It's not the the highest like of capital. It's not that bad a value.
Bring the kid from Calabasas home, man. Bring the kid from Calabasas home. You love to see it. What are we thinking here?
I'm thinking
Safety.
linebacker because your linebacker room is literally just Ernest Jones. That's it. You've got Rose Bloom starting opposite of him. So
Ooh,
Cedric Gray would be nice here, or Bertrand.
yeah, I immediately saw Cedric Gray from North Carolina. I think this is a guy who gives you that flexibility of being a 3 down linebacker. I think he's a little underrated in his run defense. He didn't grade out the best, but I mean he is more of a pass specialist, as you can say, a coverage guy. Really fast, tested extremely well. Has had a really seamless process. Through this offseason. So I mean, I would love Cedric Gray here.
Absolutely love that fit. Just that good coverage backer to pair with Ernest Jones. Really love that. Love that pairing. Moving on to the fifth round pick for the Rams. I'm thinking kind of tackle would be nice. Your tackle, Javon Foster could be really nice. Actually, I think there's a big drop off after Javon Foster. Do you want to just go Javon Foster? Because I feel like your tackle right now, Alaric Jackson on that left side. I don't love that.
Yeah, lock that in. We got a lot of picks to play with. Let's get tackle out of the way. The drop off at tackle continues to get worse throughout, down the board. Let's lock in Foster right here.
All right, lock it in, and then we have one pick, the very next pick. We could get Grayson Murphy, pair him up with Lyle Latu. That's pretty crazy.
That would be kind of fun. Corner would be kind of exciting here as well. Yeah, I mean that Grayson Murphy pick would be kind of cool.
He's solid
Um,
too, man. Like he is a solid edge rusher. Like I didn't really get to his tape till yesterday, to be honest, but he's pretty dang solid.
I mean, and if we think about their edge room right now, it's just not very good.
It's
I
just
mean,
Byron Young. That's it.
yeah, it was a great pick last year, but yeah, I mean, you could definitely add depth to that. And Grayson Murphy, a guy that played with Latu, yeah, I love that fit, and a guy who's staying home. We're keeping these California kids in California.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. He's the perfect edge three. I think he's like the perfect third edge. Honestly, that's his dream role. So I think he'd be really
Have
fun
we
to
drafted
pair.
a safety? Yes, yeah. Can we upgrade over Russ Yeast, please?
Smart, good idea.
Tyler Owens, an absolutely athletic freak from Texas Tech right there. A guy who absolutely literally jumped out of the combine. I think his broad jump was like 11.4, which is like the second biggest after Byron Jones. I really like that guy. I like his upside a lot. We could probably wait around to get him.
You want to go corner and then get him?
Yeah, maybe we lock in Josh Wallace here. I really like Josh Wallace. Um, they finesse him. They're the pick that finessed him from the Seahawks.
All right. Yeah, we'll finesse the Seahawks. We'll go Josh Wallace, then we'll add to the secondary with the next pick, and we'll go safety. We'll go with that Tyler Owens freak athlete pick. I really love that. Pour up the combine. What other positions you eyeing? We kind of are just
I mean, we're
bouncing.
throwing darts here. I mean, we added Colby Parkinson. We got Tyler Higbee. I think we're okay there. Running back, obviously Kyron Williams. Ooh, maybe a running back too. Ronnie Rivers is our running back too, and Zach Evans. I could definitely do an upgrade right there. Um, think about Rasheen Ali from Marshall. That'd be kind of an interesting fit.
I wonder who the most McVay running back would be. I guess Ali is a pretty good athlete. Actually, no, that 36 elusive rating get me out of there. Mayan Williams wouldn't be bad. I could see Mayan Williams just having getting back to his 2022, 2021 form at Ohio State in this scheme. Any running back's going to be good. Mayan Williams might have the highest upside, but
Ooh, what about Alabama's running back, Jace McClellan? He would be I oh, is he already gone? Dang it.
yeah.
Uh Blake Watson's also intriguing here as well. Ooh. I don't know much about Mayan Williams.
He's a stockier back, so he would be a compliment to Kyron. He's 226, so he's got that like stockier build. He's a more of a power back. He gets those he gets
5
touchdowns.
yards. Yeah, let's throw a dart throw at him. Why not? Yeah, 14 touchdowns in 2022. Damn.
Yeah,
Wow,
he
yeah.
was a starter because Travion Henderson was hurt that year.
Yeah. Let's throw a dart throw on him. Yeah, that'd be a good complimentary. I mean, having Kyron Williams more of your elusive back, and he could be your short yardage situational guy. I like that a lot.
All right, and then I think we're on to our last 6 round picks. We have two more total picks.
Is it too early to go punter here, Dan? Is it too early?
I am eyeing a specific punter with our 7th round pick, but we could go kicker here.
I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, who's our kicker right now on the Rams?
Because we took Johnny Wilson, which is kind of like hedging our receiver and tight end pick. So I guess we could take Will Reichard if you wanted to go kicker, and then we could go punter 7th round.
Screw it, let's do it. When you have 20 picks in the seventh and fifth round, you get some special teamers, man. And let's get the best kicker out here right now.
And it's not only the pick thing; it's that your starters are Tanner Brown, um, is your
Yeah.
kicker, and then your starting punter is Ethan Evans. So two no names on your special teams. We're gonna insert it with the best kicker in the draft, and I'm gonna get you the best punter in the draft, Ryan Recco out of BYU. This guy's leg is something different. It sounds like a cannon when he punts the ball. Just watch, he's going to be drafted. Maybe he's the highest punter off the board. And I will tell you right now, his leg is different. He's Ray Guy, rejuvenated. So you're welcome, Rams fans.
Can we get the measurables on the kid too? Isn't it like 6'5", like 240? An absolute unit out there at punter. So maybe slots in at linebacker too. Maybe we got a punter and a linebacker with our last pick.
Let's see. He is 6'5", 235. He's a big boy. He can do those fake punts and he'll be trucking you.
So we got a punter hybrid in the 7th round. Dan, lead us away with these guys. Lead us. I'll let you do the Rams. I'll do
Yeah,
the
thanks
next
for
one.
letting me use all my voice reading off these 20 picks. But in round one, you get Laiatu Latu, keep him in LA. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful prospect to me. Round two, you get Chris Jenkins, replace Aaron Donald, stick with that defensive line theme. Round three, you get Johnny Wilson, the 6'7" receiver. You could, worst case scenario, be a fun tight end project, but he can move well on that outside. So I like that as a compliment. To the other receivers in the room, round three, you get Cedric Gray as well, a good starting linebacker, opposite of Ernest Jones, honestly. And then Javon Foster could honestly push to start at left tackle with the Lark Jackson. And then your other round five pick, you get Grayson Murphy to pair with Latu, be that third edge rusher, really fun rotational guy. You get Josh Wallace in round six, Tyler Owens in round six, two solid athletic safeties. Josh Wallace really good in coverage. You get Mayan Williams in round six, that bruising power back to complement Kyron. And then you finish the draft off with a kicker and punter, the best kicker in the draft, Will Reichert, and the best punter I've ever seen in my existence, Ryan Recco out of BYU. Just electric.
Just cue the SpongeBob 4 hours later.
Yeah, if you guys haven't skipped that recap, there's the Rams recap.
All right, last but not least, the 49ers, Super Bowl losing 49ers looking to revamp their team. George Kittle said he will be back. He will not let this hold him back. All for 4 yards in the Super Bowl. You'll love to see it. But let's go 49ers. Let's get it.
This pick is 100% down to two players for me, and that's Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's still on the board, or Zach Frazier. I'll let you choose between the two. The interior offensive line for the Niners is tragic, to say the least, but Kool-Aid could be that perfect complement on the outside of the board. So
I think I really, really want to attack that offensive line. I mean, that's been their tried and true, their butter. Good teams continue to draft offensive linemen and develop them. You get Zach Frazier, immediate day one starter, a guy who possibly could have been your interior offensive lineman one, had he not broken his leg. But this is a 49ers player. I mean the zone grade, the gap grade, he can go into any system and thrive. I think that Shanahan system with McCaffrey, he would be an absolute mauler in it. Kind of almost reminds me a little bit of like a Jason Kelsey type of guy. Maybe a little undersized, but just ultra powerful, just holds an anchor, that wrestling background. And I think this is a damn near beautiful pick. And I really like him. I really want him in the second round for my Chargers, but this is an incredible fit.
yeah, it's definitely high, but it's a perfect fit for the Niners. You replace Jake Brendel. This is a true center. He's like a Creed Humphrey type prospect, a good mover for that Shanahan scheme. So I really like it. I think I would personally go Kool-Aid, but I couldn't really fault the Zach Frazier to the Niners fit. It's a pretty seamless one. So moving on to round two, the second to last pick in round two. I think I want to
Know
go.
what we want to do. We know what we want to do.
I'm not
Yes.
confident that Brandon Ayuk is even on the team. And oh, okay, there he is. I thought he was gone. I'm not confident that Brandon Ayuk is on the team this year. I think on draft day he gets traded. It's going to be one of those draft day trades, and I'm going to go Brandon Rice. You get Jerry Rice's son in there. He's a stud. He's a crazy jump ball receiver. I think he's just being slept on as a prospect because his dad is Jerry Rice. It doesn't make sense, but he's kind of insane. And like you watch Caleb, he really pops on Caleb's tape because he just goes up and bails Caleb out on some throws. Like he goes up and plucks that ball. He's got that big frame, 6'3", 210, just a beast. Transfer from Colorado. I really like him.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because like the opposite of Marvin Harrison Jr., where people are like, this guy's been trained by an absolute. So is Brandon Rice. He's not as athletic. He's not as quick. He's not as fast as Marvin Harrison Jr. But I mean, he's a damn good prospect. And one of the best players in NFL history is your dad, who played for the 49ers, pretty much his entire career. You go get his son. You keep the legend going, and I absolutely love it here. And I think this is honestly where he should be drafted.
Yeah, a really good compliment to that room as well, even if you don't lose Ayuk, but especially if you lose Ayuk. Let's move on to round three. I'm definitely
Keep attacking offensive line here.
yes,
Yeah,
I'm thinking going right back to that offensive line. Well, unless like there's a crazy good corner that stands out, but not really. Brownlee would be fun, but I
I
think
think we want to. Yeah, I think we want to upgrade it over Colton McKivitz here, and Dominic Pooney is a really fun prospect here, still on the board. A guy who can play in and out. I mean, whether you get your best five on the field, and Dominic Pooney is going to be playing guard or tackle for you. Elite pass block grade, which I love. Really good run block grade as well. Just a physical tackle, and plug him into that Shanahan system. I think he'd thrive, and you keep replenishing that offensive line because that is just what's been so dominant for the 49ers for so long.
yeah, I'm really low on Colton McKivitz, so I'm totally fine starting Pooney at right tackle day one, honestly. But yeah, I do love the flexibility. He started last year at left tackle, graded out really well. The year before he started at left guard, so he can play anything really. I project him to play guard, so if he replaces John Feliciano and is a all pro guard day one, I think that's no slouch at all. So you get him and Zach Frazier. I think that's really fun. You get a nice versatile piece. It's kind of a no-brainer. Niners don't have too many needs, but offensive line is something they definitely need to attack. I'm thinking corner with our next pick, though. I don't think we can wait.
Yeah, let's address the secondary here. Elijah Jones, corner from Boston College, a guy that's got some really fun tape. 3 years of really good grades. And a guy who's not afraid to come up and smack you in the run game either. What do you think about Elijah Jones here?
Elijah Jones is definitely my guy out of these corners, just really sticky in coverage, really good man corner. So I love it. I think he fits this Niners scheme perfectly. I think he starts day one, honestly, opposite of Ward. I think it's perfect.
Only three missed tackles. You love to see it. I mean, that could be a stat that can be really horrible for some corners. So, yeah, you plug and play him. You add him to that secondary again. You replenish what you've always been so good at.
Absolutely love it. With the next pick, I'm thinking staying in the trenches, going maybe defensive interior or tackle. Christian Boyd, man. I kind of want to go Christian Boyd because I just want to talk about this guy. He is a stud. He's going to be in the Iowa Pro Day. He's going to be so watch out for that. He'll be participating with Cooper DeJean. But I think he's just going to be really good in the NFL. I think he's going to translate well. Really good pass rusher, but he can do it all. He's built well. I really am confident he's a good player, and it feels like a Niner.
I think that's really good. I mean, you pair him up with Javon Hargrave and Malik Collins. I don't know how long you have Malik Collins. What's their 1 year deal? But Christian Boyd ultimately becomes that replacement. You lose Armstead to free agency. Yeah, I absolutely love the fit. He feels like a 49er. He's elite in the run end and the pass rushing grades. So, that's what you want to see out of your interior.
Then you've got to pick just a few picks down the board, and I'm thinking tackle. I hate McKivitz. It's kind of hedging if Pooney plays guard, so let's go another tackle that can kind of swing around.
Honestly, Christian Jones here, man, a 5 year starter. I mean, this guy has played a lot of football. You kind of know what you're getting out of him. But a guy who's just not the most freaky athletic, but a really solid prospect, and a guy who's just has a lot of snaps under his belt. So he's got the experience. He can be a day one starter on the right tackle side to replace McKivitz immediately. Maybe you kick Pooney out there in a year or two and move him to left tackle. But a guy who I just think, he was a 5 year guy because of COVID. But a guy who you definitely take a dart throw in the mid rounds here.
I love it. Feels like a Niner, instantly better than Colton McKivitz. 100% confident of that. So I really like what the Niners are doing, attacking that offensive line. Rest of the draft, you can kind of go best available. I feel like we've kind of attacked our needs. Receiver, we could double dip at receiver, could double dip at corner. I feel like getting that second tight end to Cameron Latu shouldn't be a second tight end in the NFL. So that is something that could be addressed. Tip Ryman could be nice. What do you think?
Yeah, Tip Ryman, Tanner McLaughlin is who yeah, I like Tip Ryman. I think he would actually be a really good 1-2 punch with George Kittle. And a guy who I don't think had the best career, but also his team didn't help him out and his quarterback didn't help him out. So a guy who I feel like could definitely develop a lot. So kind of a dart throw here on Tip Ryman. So yeah, I mean I like this. I like to pair that with George Kittle as a late round dart.
Yeah, it just feels like a good compliment. He feels like the Niners typical tight end who can receive, can block, he can just a good all around player. So I like that. Some upside with Tip Ryman. And then moving on to round 6, this is really best player available territory. Like safety could be good.
Running back. I don't know if
Running
you know
back
what
could be
I'm
nice.
thinking, but another legend is still on the board. Oh no!
Oh, you were thinking Frank Gore to go with the Niners roots, or
Oh, you
that's
hate to see
tough.
it. I mean, that just means my Chargers drafted him, to pair him with Harbaugh. So, you can't be too mad. Chase McClellan be actually a really fun running back to pair with Christian McCaffrey, another bigger bruising back, from Alabama, who Christian McCaffrey's not guaranteed to play a full 17 games every year. Your offensive line has gotten substantially weaker. I think Chase McClellan right here would be a pretty good fit.
No, I really like that as a compliment to McCaffrey. I feel like Elijah Mitchell's getting towards that cut territory, so I really like them going with that upside running back that can be really good. RB2 day one.
Johnny Dixon, nickel corner right there would honestly be a really beautiful fit. I don't know if you'd rather, dip at safety, but for a nice nickel corner, he'd be a stud. And I think this guy's got a lot of upside, especially in this round.
You project him as a nickel.
I project him as a nickel, yep.
All right, yeah, then let's go, Johnny. He played all of last year on the outside, but I'll take your word for it. We're gonna go Johnny and play him on the nickel. We're gonna pair Jair Brown with his Penn State teammate. I like him as a player.
Kind of reminded me of a really, really poor man's Brian Branch when I watched him. Who played maybe a little bit more corner, but I think he could slot in at nickel, especially in that 49ers defense and just be a stud. Oh, but wait, who's the 49ers defensive head coach? Who do they hire?
Their defensive coordinator is
I know they hired Brandon Staley, but he's like an assistant head.
oh yeah, their DC is technically Nick Sorensen, but pretty much Brandon Staley. Yeah, I,
I don't think they dared give Brandon Staley that title.
yeah.
So never mind. These corners may struggle here in San Francisco. So good luck. Good luck. I mean, you have Kyle Shanahan who oversees everything, but I guess trust the process.
Let's double dip at receiver here. Just oh wow, that is a tragic receiver board. Maybe we aren't going to double dip at receiver.
Who did I see on the board? Bookie Watson. You know, um, Dre Greenlaw's coming off an injury in the Super Bowl. Bookie Watson, the all-time leading tackler at Mississippi State, is kind of intriguing. A guy that just finds himself around the football. You could also go tight end and really get a big guy like a Brevin Span Ford if he's available.
Let's go defense. I honestly like the Watson pick. Do you want to go Watson to get that? I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, you're right. Drake Greenlaw did get hurt late in the season.
yeah. Coming off an injury, a guy with a lot of experience, a multi-year starter at Mississippi State and the all-time leading tackler. So, at worst, a guy that you can, be a true special teamer at worst.
Yeah, that's a nice Niners pick. Feels right. Love it. Locking in the Niners draft, a really fun one for them. I feel like they get a lot of impact as well. You want to read off this Niners draft?
Yes, we're going round one, center, immediate upgrade in Zach Frazier from West Virginia. Then going to round two, pick 63 and getting Brendan Rice, son of Hall of Fame wide receiver Jerry Rice, who played for the 49ers for many, many years, as everyone well knows. And then addressing the offensive tackle or guard with a positionless guy and Dominic Pooney on that offensive line. In round 3, pick 94. Round 4, pick 124. Going one of Dan's guys, Elijah Jones, cornerback from Boston College. Round 4, another pick in round 4, pick 132, getting Christian Boyd, who feels like a 49ers, a very versatile interior defensive lineman. And then longtime Texas starter at tackle Christian Jones to keep replenishing that offensive line. Pick around 5, pick 176, Tip Ryman, a very raw guy, but with a lot of potential at tight end. Round 6, pick 211, Chase McClellan, running back Alabama, is a nice 1-2 punch with Christian McCaffrey. Another round 6 pick, 215, Johnny Dixon, a versatile corner who I project slots more as a nickel from Penn State, and then all-time leading tackler at Mississippi State in round 7, Bookie Watson.
Love it. Feels like a Shanny draft. Feels like a John Lynch draft, and it's beautiful. I feel like all these NFC West drafts are pretty fun. A lot of picks, so it was hard to fell on them, but I liked all the picks. How do you grade them all?
You know what? I think we're damn good freaking general managers. So, if a general manager happens to be watching this, or some owner, hit me in Dan's line, hit us in the comments. We are looking for jobs. We are looking for general manager jobs only. So definitely hit our line. We can draft teams like this for you.
All right, Store's filling himself after this one. He's asking for some GM jobs after these mocks. So yeah, definitely like and comment your thoughts on these mocks. Apparently they're so good that Stores should be an NFL GM. So yeah, definitely like, comment, subscribe, tune into all the NFL Seekers draft content. A lot more coming out. Stay tuned for your team's episode. So really fun.
Yes, sir. I do have an exit hot take. You forgot to ask me.
Let's hear it.
Within the next year, we will be interviewing Daniel Jeremiah and doing a collab mock with him on here. So stay tuned. 1 year, DJ will be on this channel, baby.
All right, so Stores is really feeling himself after this mock draft. He's going to be NFL GM, and we're going to be doing some collab mocks with Daniel Jeremiah here on the channel. So stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.